Yes, Fox News, after the November 2020 election, was spinning conspiracy theories about the election being rigged and stolen in favor of now President Biden. In the course of presenting these conspiracy theories, they happened to mention a company, Dominion, which makes the voting machines. And they made some very specific statements about Dominion's voting machines, that that algorithms, for example, had taken votes that were for Trump and made them in favor of Biden.
And so this particular case, how difficult is it? It's a very high bar for Dominion to prove, is it not?
That's right. So the Supreme Court said in a foundational case in 1964 that for defamation claim to survive like this, that the plaintiff would have to show actual malice. That's a term of art. That means that that Fox knew what it was publishing was false, or that it was recklessly indifferent to that falsity. And that is really hard. Most plaintiffs end up not winning here in the United States because the bar is so high.
So that is interesting. So now we're at this point where a trial was supposed to start today. Up until this point, though, there's been some sensational evidence that came to light about some of the high-profile Fox anchors.
Yes, absolutely. So in a process called discovery, the Dominion was able to obtain depositions and a treasure trove of emails and other documents that revealed that there was a lot of doubt about what Fox agents were saying on the Fox program, knowing that it was false. I think they called one lawyer, Sidney Powell, a wackadoodle. So we have some documents in writing where Fox was expressing real doubts about what it was saying about Dominion.
Yeah. It also seemed to expose Rupert Murdoch's actual feelings about Trump, despite having supported him for so many years.
Yes, absolutely. I think we learned a lot about what was going on behind the scenes at Fox, not just about Dominion, but how it felt that it needed to push these conspiracy theories, even when it was no longer believing them, in order to retain viewers. They were very worried about losing viewership to a competitor, Newsmax.
Yeah, because the irony was they were the first to call the election for President Biden, but it didn't help them because people just started switching off in droves.
That's right. They felt that they needed to maintain their viewership and continue to press the conspiracy theories that were coming from the Trump White House.
Yeah. So what do you make of today's developments, this delay when everyone was expecting that the trial would start?
Yes, I think there was a momentous decision about a week ago where the judge declared that that the statements Fox made about Dominion were false. That was amazing. That does not happen very often. So Dominion was going into this trial, is going into the trial with this declaration in its back pocket. It does not have to prove falsity. And so it's not terribly surprising to me that the parties would be in settlement talks. Dominion has this very important judicial declaration that Fox lied, or I'm sorry, that Fox made false statements about Dominion. And a lot of times that's what plaintiffs want most of all, is to clear their names. And there are some significant questions about the damages that Dominion would be able to recover at trial. It's made some sensational claims for $1.6 billion. That's an awfully high number. So each side has some risk going into trial. It's not terribly surprising that on the eve of trial, they're sitting down and thinking about a settlement.
Some people have said that Dominion hasn't got anything to lose by going ahead with the trial. Do you think that regardless of that declaration by the judge, there is a risk for Dominion to go forward?
Yes, well, I think Dominion has made these very high damage claims. The court has last week limited the kinds of arguments Dominion can make. For example, the court said that Dominion cannot talk about the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and also is not allowed to present detailed information about threats that resulted against Dominion and its workers. So Dominion is not likely, or I should say it's at least possible, that it would not receive at trial from a jury the kind of eye-popping numbers that it's been asserting in its papers. I suppose there could be a little bit of embarrassment for the company if they end up with a verdict that's only 200,000, for example, rather than 1.6 billion.
Yeah, so the admission of guilt might be more valuable to them. What sort of settlement do you think might it take for Dominion to walk away from this trial?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I think that there would have to be a very large figure of money, because I do think Dominion goes into this trial with the upper hand. I don't quite know what Fox's resources are, what kind of insurance it has, but I would say it would have to be a very large number. Other than that, it's not typical for settlements to include anything else aside from stipulation of dismissal of the case. The parties have resolved the issue amicably.
Yeah. And I mean, Fox has got a lot to lose too, although a lot, as you pointed out in Discovery, you know, it was revealed that some of their high-profile anchors don't even believe what they commit to on air every single night. Do you think the worst of the damage for Fox is over?
Oh, no, not at all. I think that is something that Fox is thinking seriously about. You know, it's one thing for all of us to see the documents, but it's quite another to see a live stream testimony of high-profile Fox figures like Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and the Murdochs getting up there on stand and having to testify that they did not believe what they were saying on their own news program. That could really undermine the journalistic integrity of each of those individuals and Fox News in general.
Yeah. Great to see you, Mary Rose. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.